Hey guys, so in a previous video, I unboxed this brand new pork pie drum throne that I have here. And I thought I might talk a little bit about some of the techniques you might want to follow when setting it up, the height of it and how close your throne is going to be to the rest of your drums. So the first thing you really want to probably do is figure out where on the footboard your actual foot is going to sit. So I'm using these DW 9000 pedals, and generally, so it has these big numbers 9000 on the footboard. I put my foot about halfway up on that, so just before the 90 part. So I'm covering up the last two zeros. That's where I generally play. Sometimes when I have to play faster, I pull my feet back so that they're closer to the hinge, but generally, that's my spot. Now, the reason why you want to do this first is because your height the height of the throne is going to be relative to how far up your foot already is sitting on the pedal. And the further forward it is or further back it is, it's going to be at a starting point that's higher or lower. Next, you want to figure out how close the throne is to the drums. We'll take care of the height at the end, but right now we want to figure out how close or far away it's going to be. If I put my throne way too close, obviously, you can see that the heel of my leg is sticking out behind my knee. And that's going to make things very difficult to drum, right? On the flip side of things, if I'm way too far away, I'm basically having to stretch. I'm having to really reach out to get to the drum. So what's the ideal position? It's generally such that the bottom part of your leg, right, where your calf is, you want that to basically be perpendicular to the ground, right? So you want it to be facing straight down. If it's bent forward a little bit, that's okay too. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? But so this is how I would generally have my leg positioned. So the last thing we want to talk about is the height of your throne. Just like how I said before, the bottom part of your leg needed to be perpendicular to the ground or just slightly not quite perpendicular, or is pointing out a little bit. We're going to talk about the top part of your leg relative to being parallel to the ground, so being even to the ground. In this case, you want it so that when you lift your leg up, it never quite gets to being parallel. So you want it to be going down a little bit, but you don't want it down a ton. So first, what happens if your throne is too low? If your throne is too low, then your leg is going to be up over that parallel part. And it's actually like a different set of muscles that you have to use to be able to operate your leg to move it up and down. On the flip side, if you're up way too high, then you can actually, I believe it was Mike Portnoy who used to sit really, really high up on his throne. And I believe I read in some articles that he was starting to get some back problems from having been sitting up so high. So you want to kind of follow this kind of general guideline, right? You want to make it so that your leg, like I said, doesn't quite go above the parallel mark. So I hope you guys found that useful. If there's any other sorts of setup related questions you might have, let me know down below. I can have a conversation. And don't forget to subscribe.